Chapter 2: The Secrets of Happiness. Why do we have lives filled with turmoil, desperation, and anxiety? Why are we always pushing ourselves and others? Why do we only have small dribbles of peace, love, and happiness? Why is that human beings are characterized by bickering and turmoil that makes animals' relationships with their own species seem peaceful in comparison? The answer is so simple, but it is sometimes difficult for us to really understand. Almost every way we were taught to work toward happiness only reinforces the feelings and activities that make us unhappy. This is a central point that must be understood. The ways that we were taught to be happy can't possibly work. Unless we see this point clearly, we cannot progress to higher consciousness. Here is why. Most of us assume that our desires, backed up by emotional feelings, are the true guides to doing the things that will make us happy. But no one has yet found happiness by using emotion backed desires as guides. Flashes of pleasure, yes. Happiness, no. Our wants and our desires are so seductive. They masquerade as needs that must be satisfied so we can be happy at last. They lead us from one illusion of happiness to another. Some of us tell ourselves, if I can just get to be the president of this corporation, I will be happy. But have you ever seen a really happy president? His outside drama may feature beautiful yachts, Cadillacs, Playboy bunnies, but is he really happy inside? Has his ulcer gone away yet? We constantly tell ourselves such things as, if I could just go back to school and acquire more knowledge, perhaps get a master's degree, then I will be happy. But are people with master's degrees or PhDs any happier than the rest of us? That's actually an epidemic. It was in 2025. It is beautiful to acquire knowledge, but it is misleading to expect it to bring us peace, love, and happiness. We tell ourselves, if I could only find the right person to love, then I would be happy. So we search for someone who our addictions tells us is the right person, and we experience some pleasurable moments. But since we don't know how to love, the relationship gradually deteriorates. Then we decide we didn't have the right person after all. As we grow into higher consciousness, we discover that it is more important to be the right person than it is to find the right person. And I'd like to offer something tiny on that, is that a teaching that if you're concerned about relationship, man is a village. And when you meet someone that you have a romantic relationship with, the version of you that you meet is like the leader of the village or the spokesperson for the village in that relationship. So it's like your village sends out one chosen person out into the middle of a field, and their village sends out one person out to the middle of a field, and those two people become the representatives for your village. So you really want to hope that those two representatives like each other, that uh, and that they're suitable leaders for the village, for their own respective village. And I had a relationship where the version of me that was the representative was a more rebellious version of me, not really the best leader for my village. And then to an extension, if you're going to have a relationship with someone, just like a person's family, extended family tends to be an extension of themselves, you are going to, if you are surprised by the fact that you find out that they are a village and that there are lots of people in that village that you don't like and that you have problems with, if you're surprised by that, um, you don't understand what a person is yet. That that is what you're getting into. You are not um, making a relationship just with the spokesperson for the village. You are having a relationship with. Now that was a bit of a rant, but hopefully that is useful to someone. Know what you're signing up for. I think that is fair to me to give a rant on, as relationships tends to be one of the things that a lot of people really want. At relationship that doesn't fail. So it's a matter. There's a matter of signing what you're signing up for. You're signing up for a village. You're signing up for a whole lot of people that you're going to like, a lot of people that you don't like. And if you can't love them all, your relationship is going to fail. That is how it works. And if they can't love all the people in your village, your relationship is going to fail probably too, or be very difficult to maintain. You cannot make another person um, be how you want them to be. So if they don't want to do that, you're you may have a difficult time. But relationships are for learning and growth too. So if you at least have a common intention with that person, that'd be pretty nice. So as we grow into higher consciousness, we discover that it is more important to be the right person than to find the right person. Because if you are the right person, for example, if you're the person who wants to love the whole village, then you're probably going to find the person who wants to love the whole village and you might have a good time. We must deeply understand why all of our negative emotions are misleading guides to effective action in life situations. Our negative emotions are simply the result of an extensive pattern of scars and wounds that we have experienced. And these emotional wounds lead us to perceive differences that makes us uptight instead of similarities that enable us to understand and love. The present programming of our emotions makes us perceive other people and the conditions of the world around us as threats, potentially dangerous to our well-being. We then respond with adrenaline, faster heartbeat, increased blood sugar, and the other jungle survival responses that prepare us for fight or flight. We are trapped in our ways of perceiving the world around us. But no one or no situation need be felt as an emotional threat or danger. When we see things with the clearer perception of higher consciousness, think of the most threatening situation you have been in the last day or two. Are you about to lose your job? Is the person for whom you feel the most love paying more attention to someone else than you? Do you have an unpaid bills that you cannot take care of? Do you have a pain that could be cancer? Now, these problems either have solutions or they do not. Either you can do something about them here or now, or you can't. Either you can do something about them here or now, or you can't. If you can do something here and now about them, then do it, even if it is just a first step. It saps your energy to be worried or anxious about a problem. Do what you can do, but do not be addicted to the results, or you will create more worry for yourself. If you can't do something about a problem here and now, then why make yourself uncomfortable and drain your energy by worrying about it? It is part of the here and nowness of your life. That is what it is here and now. Worry, anxiety, or other unpleasant emotions are absolutely unnecessary and simply lower your insight and the effectiveness of your actions. Now, I like to apply things immediately. There's a background worry when I read this that people, the mind, if you do not say, this is why you should listen to me, the mind will ask, why should I listen to you? And that is something that I did not address with the speaker, the audience here. And now it is an audiobook recording, so there is like the fact that, you know, the reason I'm recording the audiobook is so that people can listen to the audiobook. But why am I providing commentary? I am a person who, actually, as this book will mention soon, talking about feelings is pretty important. I'm a person who's trying to raise my consciousness levels. I operate in a way where sharing helps me understand myself. So I want to understand myself more, help other people more, all of these things. So that is my reason and qualification. One of my qualifications is that I am a human being with experiences, and those experiences are valuable. And by talking about my experiences, it helps me. It helps me gain understanding. I find understanding to be very valuable. If you gain any understanding from something I say, I think that is very valuable. Or just by fact that I shared something that you related to, that had to do with you as well, that you could relate to, or something that you haven't heard someone call out before that you've known and experienced. You must absolutely convince yourself of the lack of utility of these draining emotions. If there's any powerful statement or any like critical, like coded core statement in this first chapter, it's this: you must absolutely convince yourself of the lack of utility of these draining emotions. You must see, read that in a normal way. You must see your unnecessary worrying as depriving you of the flowing effectiveness and joyousness that you should have in your life. You must see the unnecessary worrying as depriving you of the flowing effectiveness and joyousness that you should have in your life. As long as you think that these negative emotions have any function whatsoever, you will retard your growth into higher consciousness. If you think that these negative emotions have some kind of utility for you, if you think that they are helping you in any way, that they're not depriving you, you're not going to want to get rid of them, and you're not going to drop them, and it's going to hinder you. If you do not hassle yourself emotionally when the outside world does not conform with your inside programming, your desires, your expectations, your demands, your models of how the world should treat you, you will have so much energy that you probably will sleep 50% less. You'll be so joyous and loving and really appreciate each moment of your life, no matter what's happening in the world of people and situations around you. I want to reiterate this argument 100 times, but I only do that once, that it's making here, because this is an extremely strong argument. If you didn't have worry depriving you of your energy, you would have 50% more energy. If you had 50% more energy, your life would be completely different. That's just, I think that's really easy to see. But that's a positive result, but we have to look at this the this negative cost result here. Nobody likes losing money. Nobody likes being stolen from. Nobody likes being robbed. The worry, the unnecessary worrying, is robbing you. It's stealing from you. It's costing you. It's screwing you over. You don't want that. There is a very good reason, someone keeps cutting my leg. I want them to stop cutting my leg. Eventually, you know, I will escalate in my methods of deciding ways that I stop them from doing that. Where and how did we get this emotional programming? First of all, most of it was acquired in the first few years of life. For example, when we were very young, we had the experience of mother forcefully taking a perfume bottle from our tiny fingers and at the same time sending out bad vibrations based on her desire to not have her perfume bottle broken. We cried. Through being painfully pushed around, dominated, told what to do, and controlled when we were babies, we developed our emotionally intense security, sensation, and power programs. Many of our emotion backed programs came from repeated moral directives or statements about how things should be. It tends to go up the more religious background you are, in my experience. We developed a self consciousness with robot like emotional responses to protect the survival of this separate self. So we developed a self consciousness that has these robot like emotional responses to protect the survival of this separate self. So we became very emotionally programmed to feel that we must have power to control and manipulate people in order to be happy. We eventually become very finely attuned to the actions or vibrations of any person or situation that even remotely threatens our power addictions, our ability to manipulate and control people and things around us. I've always wondered why people have wanted me to fail so intently when they're, consciously very supportive of me, friends that I've had that are um, they are so quick, they're so attuned to a possible change that could benefit me that they would shoot down. They're so fine, very finely tuned. That makes sense here. It even remotely threatens our power addictions, our ability to manipulate and control our life. As we reach physical maturity and our biocomputer or brain is able to function more perceptively, we have all the power we need. But our biocomputer, backed up by the full repertory of our emotions, is still programmed to compensate for the power deficiency we experienced when we were infants and young children. We now need to learn to flow with the people and things around us. But our power addiction keeps us from loving people because we perceive them as objects that may threaten our power, prestige, or pecking order. If we want to love and be loved, we can't be addicted to power or to anything else. Yeah, that revealed that relationship a bit more when I just read that again. It's like, oh yeah, that's a threat to pecking order. Like, I can't let this guy be better than me. I can't let this guy be better than me because this guy sucks. Well, maybe that's it. Maybe this guy sucks. And if this guy who sucks is better than me, then I really suck. So there is no way I can let this guy. Um, as conscious beings, the only thing we need to find happiness in life is to perceive clearly who we are. We are pure consciousness and not the social roles we are acting out. Now, notice that that's not like a. This is not speaking in a religious sense. This is not speaking in a spiritual sense. This is speaking in a, if we're perceiving clearly what we are, who we are, we're pure consciousness, not these social roles, and exactly what are the real conditions here and now of our lives, how basically simple is our problem? How simple is our problem? But to achieve this clear perception of ourselves and the world around us takes constant inner work. And this means developing the habit of emotionally accepting whatever's here and now in our lives. And it's not just saying that, it does explain exactly how we're going to look at that and do that. For only an emotionally calm biocomputer can see clearly and wisely and come up with effective ways to interact with people and situations. Our power addiction is only one example of the happiness destroying programming that we put into our biocomputers when we were young. When we were too young to perceive the realities of the world in which we lived. Although we now have the basic capacity for clear perception and operating instructions, we gave our biocomputer anchor us to the lower levels. And so we are unconsciously trapped. Here and now is the reality of our lives, and it is only from the conditions of the present that our future can be generated. But our present addictions, demands, and expectations, the programming of our biocomputer, dominate our consciousness and force us to spend most of the time we are awake and most of the time we are dreaming in protesting and pouting about the here and now situation in our lives. This lowers our perceptiveness and keeps us from finding effective solutions to our problems. The LL way to higher consciousness shows us how to break through this trap to free ourselves and to find our full potential as human beings. Just my sort of review commentary there, just to make one note, is they I really find a lot of value in the first two chapters. I really find a lot of fluff in the first two chapters. It seems to get from up to the point that I've read in this book, it seems to get better and better as you read. More and more. Damn, this is pretty good. End of chapter 2.